Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Coffee and Colorful Conversation. Today, I have a special guest that I wanted to share with you. I found him on Instagram, and we recently did a podcast episode, and I loved the episode because it was all about things that I know nothing about, which is wigs and pieces and all the fun things that you can use for more dress work. And we just talked and talked and talked. And I said, oh my gosh, this podcast is going to be like 4 hours long. Why don't you jump on a coffee chat? When we did Revival, which I'm still on a Revival high, you guys are getting your Rusk treats in the mail. Everyone's so excited. I'm jealous. I didn't get mine yet. So you got it before I did. But Vivian and Nick did a lot of dress work and talked about hair pieces and wefts. And like I said, that is all foreign to me. I am strictly color, everything color. So Daniel, dropped some knowledge bombs on, really cool tips on actually coloring wigs. You never think about having to do a color change on a wig. Some of us, unfortunately, have had the thing come up where a client has cancer, has to go through treatments. We have to shave their head. And for me, I always felt really helpless in helping them to get a wig to get them through that time. So this whole realm is so interesting to me. And I know you're going to love him and it's going to be interesting to you. So I'm going to bring on my guest, Mr. Daniel Koye. And he will further introduce himself as you're not blurry, you're fabulous. Now don't move. Welcome. How are you?
Thanks for having me. I'm doing good. Happy Wednesday, awesome. Right? Happy hump day. Here we go.
Oh yeah. Hump it up. So Daniel is funny, as you can see, and he works on Broadway shows, on TV sets. I mean, I could go on and on, but he is going to do a much better job of sharing all of that with you. So Daniel, take it away. Tell people who you are, what you do, and why you're so fabulous.
Oh my gosh, that's a very delightful intro. Thank you. Hi, I'm Daniel Koye. I do hair, wigs, and basically hair continuity for TV, film, and Broadway. I started on Broadway. I did 23 Broadway shows, and then I kind of moved into TV, where there's a huge need for wigs. And I know most of your people that are listening are from behind the chair, so I'm going to give a little what I do, kind of day in the life of. So most of my job is from 4 a.m. to 7. My job is done by 7 o'clock, the latest. And then I sit and I watch hair all day. You know how you're watching a TV show and sometimes the bang moves if they're talking back and forth with someone. So my job is really to watch that, to make sure it all stays consistent so that the editors, when they get the footage, can just cut in between to whatever take they like. And then if you're working on a bigger show with stunt doubles, so that's I have actors who don't want to run. I have actors who really don't want to wear their own hair even. That was a fun one last weekend. And I had 2 days to make a full custom wig to match her own hair because she didn't want to wear her own hair. Totally fine. I love it. And, because the price goes up. So that's fun and exciting. So, and then we have wigs that we have to match people. So with my studio that I have my I call them friends, colleagues, coworkers who need to oh, we have a stunt double. She's going to be jumping off a building tomorrow. Do you have a wig to match? I'm give me a picture. So they send me, truthfully, they only send me the back of the person's head. So I can go through my stock of wigs. I don't want to move things, but so I have a stock of
wow. Wigs. That's like the dry cleaner rack. It looks like it can rotate around the room.
I want that really bad. So it goes all the way around my room. So I can kind of just pull and create human and synthetic hair. So that's been the majority of my job right now. I have been educating people on how to make wigs because I feel Milady has done a very horrible job, I'm saying it, with the education of wigs. I know for state board reasons, they don't really need to go into it. But as someone behind the chair, we need to know this information.
And I have a question. You said human and synthetic. Is there a way to tell whether something is human or synthetic. I was on QVC 100 years ago. I think my son was 2 and now he's 22. And I did these little hair pieces, and they were those things with the comb that made your hair look like an updo. And my mom, for the longest time, my mom's like, I just want my hair long enough to put in a French braid. I'm like, you're beyond that. What are you, 12? A French braid? What are you talking about? So I was like, I'm going to give you the updo you've always wanted. And I put the piece in, and the one piece was kind of sticking out in disarray. And I just grabbed the curling iron just out of sheer habit and like went to curl it. And it was like the Wicked Witch on Wizard of Oz, just kind of, and I was like, oh crap, I didn't even think this isn't real hair. So is there like a test that you can do, or you just kind of can tell by the quality of the look of it?
You did the test on your own.
Not recommended.
Not recommended. Well, normally I'll take a piece of the hair and I'll burn it. So we all know what hair smells like burning. Plastic will not smell like that, and it will just kind of like shrivel up on itself. So that's the telltale, because I have bins of hair that have like, I don't know what kind of hair, to be honest.
Yeah.
You know, because I'll cut off the front of a wig. So I'll have the front of the wig that I'm going to use to ventilate. So I ventilate hair one hair at a time. And that's a whole, like a custom wig. It's made from scratch, one hair at a time. So that we can actually copy the client's hairline.
Wow.
So this is a front and side view. It was going to be for Naha, but I didn't get that far. You can kind of see like the whole situation, where the red line is the actor's hairline or model's hairline. So I copy it down to the absolute umpteenth teeth. So down here, as you can see, there's even like a lighter blue streak. I can't. Lighter blue streak in it. So this is like almost the foundation of what I do. And it just gives a softer look to the wig. I copy hairlines. Like
so much patience and detail.
Yeah, it's about one hair per every hole on the lace. So it can take anywhere between 60 to 90 hours to make one wig.
Wow.
So yeah, it becomes a little bit a nuisance. So I'm just going to show you the insides. I have so much. I can talk for hours about wigs. So here's like an inside of a wig, and you can see it's just like a dress. We put the lace where we want it. So I have a finer lace on this side over here. So this is where the part is, and then I have just patches, and it fits their head. So I take a bubble of their head, and then I can. So yeah,
that's insane. I've never seen a wig in person of that high quality. Like we talked on the podcast. I'm like, dude, my experience with wigs is Halloween. Get this thing off. I'm hot.
right.
Get this far away from me. I'm done with it. But that's like unbelievable. I mean, what would something like Beyonce's hair cost? I mean, if it's that many hours and it's one hair at a time. Now, do you think she's regular extensions, or do you think she's an entire piece like you have?
If we're going to talk about her in particular, I know we have a ton of extra hair in it. So I know now people are using, looking to manufacture in China, and they'll just like kind of use those wigs. You kind of see them. They kind of look like robot hairlines, and people are plucking, tweezing, bleaching knots, all this hoopla, which they're totally usable. You know, it's a huge advancement in the wig industry, where we're used to the Halloween wigs, just and go. I've been doing this on Broadway for decades so that the lace literally stays above the eyebrow. And then sometimes, if you ever seen a show, they have like the microphone underneath.
Yes.
So you're like, but where does it go? It doesn't go. So their whole microphone, the pack, the mic, everything is under their wig. So then as an artist, we have to style the hair around it. You know,
oh my gosh.
Those like profile views where they're looking like an alien. And sometimes like the leading actresses will have 2 microphone packs. In case one goes out, they'll have a separate one. So we're literally styling like finger waves on a wig that has like 2 microphone packs, and like with Bernadette Peters, has so much hair in it that you're trying to like push it, move it around to make it look realistic. You
have to do it fast in between when they're doing different scenes and running back.
Yeah, for quick changes. So that's like one person can play like 12 different people in a show. And that's what some people are like, oh, wow. So there could be an ensemble of, normally 6 men, 6 women, and they'll have like 5 to 6 wigs each so that they can like be different people, and we do quick changes. So that's always a fun little part of live theater, but it does get monotonous.
And are you on your own back there with all those wigs, or do you have a team of people?
Let's see. It depends on the show. I've been on solo shows where it's just one person, where it was just me, and I kind of went around, did my thing. And then I've been on shows that have 5 or 6 people that are doing hair in it. I was just on a show. I'm not sure if I can say the name, but we're not going to because it's a really good show. And with COVID times, we had 15 hair people and we had 15 makeup people. So in the hair union and makeup union, you cannot cross crafts, as we call it. So they had 15 hair, 15 makeup, just so we can do, the people on set, especially with COVID, cross contamination and testing and being sequestered and all this. It was a whirlwind, but very excited, of course, because I get to, be quarantined by myself in a hotel room. So yeah, but the major thing is with wigs is you can make a wig look amazing, no matter whatever the cost of the wig. Like, cost doesn't really have a factor in my life. I have taken a $20 wig and made it look like $1 billion. If you're copying their hairline hair for hair, how can it not look good? If you're really getting that hair texture down where it's just like you put it on and the lace just melts into the skin, you're just like, holy cow. So that's been that's a little joy. That's why I love wigs.
Do you get to meet up with the actor and try the wig on and make sure everything's right? Or you have to be on and you have to throw that on to that body double and it better work? Like, how much connection do you get in between?
Yeah, it depends on who it is. Like, I have like Vanessa Williams, I have Patti LaBelle's head, I have Fantasia's head, I have Cicely Tyson's head. And like, if they need a wig, they'll call me, I'll make it and I'll send it out.
So you have their head shape on one of those blocks that's behind you.
Yeah.
You need to create a museum and charge admission. Like any hairdresser, I want to come and play with your heads and look at your like behind the scenes. And I want to be behind the scenes at a Broadway show. I love Broadway shows. Yeah. The feeling that you have when you leave one of those shows, there's no comparison. And it's always like, what does it look like behind the scenes, what we don't see? It has to be so
precise. Yeah.
Precise, so every single second.
And it tech and like rehearsals are a lot, but that's where we figure it out. That's where we get the well-oiled machine going. So then by the time we're running it for truthfully a week, 2 weeks, it's a well-oiled machine and we're just going and going and going. And people just, when you can take a break, when you can go to the bathroom or eat or set your wig for the next show. So you really get into this very synchronized like pattern. I've never seen a show that I've worked on. Never. I've only heard it. So I know every word of the show. Right.
When you have to jump
into the show. I know when I'm like, I have to leave now. I have a cue. So that's kind of like flashbacks, postpartum depression, or whatever it is. Leaving the show. So that's been always a fun thing. And people think it's like, it can be mass hysteria. So say someone goes out, if someone's like sick and then their understudy goes on for the first time, it's so much fun because it's something new. It's not the same thing. You just know what to do. You can put 3 pins in a wig to keep it on for their dance number. As long as you know how you're doing it, because sometimes the wig will just fall off.
Well, that was someone just asked, how do you secure it to their head? That was my biggest question when we did the podcast, that a lot of these shows, they'll do cartwheels, they'll jump up and down, they'll flip over. And I'm like, how the heck is that wig not flying off? Again, back to the Halloween. Like if I did one thing, one false move, it was sliding down my head. So what's the trick to staying power?
First things first is the wig is made for the person. Like it's made to fit their head like a glove, like a custom glove. So you already have that support. You're not trying to make something fit and like wiggle the pins in, extra pins. So it already fits them perfectly because they're going to prep their hair underneath the wig in pin curls normally for a Broadway show, or braid downs if they have like really thick hair, but most of the time pin curls. And then I normally just do pins. We do hairpins. I do 1 to 2 on each side here, 1 in the center so it doesn't slide back, and then 2 large ones in the back.
And it's just a traditional hairpin, just
Yeah.
flat, straight. Okay.
Yeah, that's how we roll. Because it
And are most of the wigs on the Broadway shows human hair or synthetic hair?
Depends on the budget of the show, depends on how crazy someone is, and as far as their artistic design. But most of the time they are human. For like the stars of the show are mostly human all the time. And then so it's all roller sets. You know, I do more roller sets than I even want to admit. Because in school I hated roller sets.
I did too. I can't even imagine doing that.
I'm never going to do a roller set in my life, ever. Ha, ha, ha. Funny me. You know, now it's a 6-figure income for me. So you kind of have to be like, oh, wow. And why do we use roller sets? Because we can get the same thing again and again and again. You know, if you see a Broadway
More replicate it.
you can replicate it a ton of times. And that's the magic of what we do, and how hair also then starts to form a memory, you know. And we do have like union rules where we have like every 14 performances we have to wash and reset the wig. It cannot be put on someone else. So it's just like all these rules we have to deal with too. So that's been a big thing for theater, you know.
Is there a difference in staying power as far as when you do set the hair between the cheaper synthetic and the human hair? I would think that the human hair wouldn't hold as much because it's like human hair, and synthetic's basically like, you know, a wiry version of it.
With synthetics, we actually steam the hair into place. So we're remelting it around the roller set. So it's like a big showgirl number most of the time, and they all look the same. Like everyone's a blonde in the back. Most of the time, they are all synthetic, unless you have a ton of money or work for Paul Huntley, who is amazing, and then everything is human. So once again, it depends on what they give you and how they give it to you. So, and you just work with it. So you either steam it or you use some Lot of Body, good old Lot of Body, so much body.
What's that? I never heard of that.
The setting lotion that is like from
old school.
Oh,
that sounds like it. A lot of body.
Yeah, it's a lot of body. It's purple. You mix it up, you get all greasy and gooey. But
where do you even get it?
Where do we get it? We get it at Manhattan Wardrobe Supply.
Okay, so it's like a known theater thing.
Definitely in the theater. Yeah, I use Ship Shape to wash all my wigs. That's like one thing, like people get like, what? Yep, human hair, because it's going to strip all the gook off of the hair and make it really soft. But then you do have to make sure you condition it and rough it up a bit, because it actually gets too soft with Ship Shape when we strip all the hair off, all the product.
So you shared that you are very well paid, and I know you have a lot of balls in the air. So I would imagine, I mean, now pretend it's not COVID. I know Broadway shows are not happening right now, but when they are, do you have to sign a contract with one show and that's your only job the whole course of that show? Because I know you do television, I know you do film. How do you plan your calendar so that you can be committed to that one show and do your other things?
Yeah. Let's see. As a union, I mean, this goes down to like the union part of it. When you're a union hairdresser or makeup artist, we're actually, independent contractors. So if we get signed up for a show, unless you're a designer or like a department head where you can actually have negotiations to not be paid the minimum of a union scale. So you are on a daily hire, basically. So for television and film, it's kind of the same. So you have your core group, and then if you need more people, you can bring them on. And that's just how it goes across the industry. And sometimes it's called a swing on Broadway. So you can kind of do every show. Or if you don't like a show and you're leaving a show, you normally give your 2 weeks, you find someone to replace you. But normally you're there for the stunt of the show. So when I did Broadway, I did the stunts. There was ends. Oh my gosh. I never did an open-ended run. I've only done we're doing a 7-month run. We're doing a 12-month run. I'm like, all right, I can do it. So then
But is that your only gig during that time? Like it's so intense that you don't even bother booking anything else during that time.
For Broadway. You have 1 day off a week on Broadway, but you can work kind of like daytimes. I did a lot of photo shoots, but it's because either the talent wanted me there. So they would like contract it where they only worked, from 6 a.m. to noon, 2 o'clock on a Tuesday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Thursday, or Friday, because we had like, I like to get to the theater at 3 when I do a show. But for film, I'm committed. Like I'm full on committed. I'm with the show every day. So I'm you're normally, if you're a department head, you're in charge of like designing the looks for the whole show. So you have to be there the whole time. So 3, 4 a.m. to whenever we end. Like that's kind of the schedule.
So I know we had talked about, you're at the point now where you're a little less starstruck. You're used to being around bigger celebrities, but who has made you feel the most like fumbling over your words, sweaty palms, like, holy crap, I'm actually touching this person's head?
I don't think, well, it was truthfully for me, it was more about, oh my God, I have a job to do and I have to make them good. I have to do my job good. So it was never, I had to take a step back. Because we're all people, we're all people. We all, it's all human connections. And I just have a very special connection with most of my actors and they're basically friends now, where, I'm there for them. I'm supporting them to do what they need to do. So I don't have so we have a job, because if the theater doesn't come or the audience doesn't watch, our show gets shut down. Just like Lincoln Rhymes Under the Bone Collector. Just a couple people watched it. So NBC said next, so I don't, starstruck. I've
like in the beginning, you had to be like pinching yourself when you got to be with like a Cecily or Patti LaBelle or someone like that. There has to be somebody that you're like, holy crap, I can't believe I am like her person. Like looking at your phone saying, I can't believe I have Patti LaBelle in my contacts of my phone, that kind of thing.
I wish it was a starstruck moment. I was more happy about working in the field I wanted to work in. Like working on Broadway for the first time, like walking through the stage door to go do Leah Michelle. It's just like, all right, I'm good. Got it, God. Thank you. You can take me now. I did that. Like, okay, I'm good. It's like, it was more that. So then, and then you do it so much that I don't want to say you become numb, and that you don't want to ever give off that energy. So,
right.
I mean, now I get a little like, but I text so much with all of my Carol Burnett. I will say Carol Burnett was the one.
I love her.
Who, she even texts me to this day, but only in emojis. She could only handle emojis. For the show, when she would come down, she would she'd do like the arrow. Turning corner, like just in emojis. So I'm like, great, hurry up, get her here. So I mean, yeah, I'm trying to think of like, yeah, but she was such a down to earth person. Like, so yeah, no, and you can't be that way. That's more of the battle. Like when I'm looking to hire someone, like how do they act? How are they going to act in strenuous situations or pressure situations? Like I've been hit, I've been punched, I've had a fork thrown at me, I've held a pee bucket for actors. So, I've really done the getting the gamut. So I normally go into a new situation like, what is this crazy?
What's happening?
Like, what are they going to have me do this time? But that's my.
Did you originally ever have aspirations of being on Broadway when you were younger? Did you want to be on the stage acting?
Oh my gosh.
It was surreal when you got to be behind the scenes.
Yeah. And I don't even want to say like, I wanted to be on stage, because I really didn't care. I just loved that I could play pretend, play pretend, you dress up, you have you could be anyone you want, and then just seeing that process, and then being in the industry so much instead of just like a worker bee. Then I started becoming like more designing and more working like really intimately with like production and producers, and now learning like the business end of it, where, you have like a budget and you have like, what am I going to spend my budget on? And then also working with like companies to like sponsor your shows that you're doing. So the business end has been really nice to learn, because no one teaches you any of this. like
Do
even
you mostly have all of the, like when they get those pieces done, do you hold on to them for that person or do they keep their hair and then you just show up just you with your tools?
it so for Broadway, all the tools are needed to be supplied to you by production. So that's a rule. So then you would just order everything you need for that show. For film and TV, we have a kit rental. So we have our own kit. So we have all of our personal things that we like to use, and then we do it that way. I have 3 of everything. We have one space for the trailer. We have one for the stage. And then I have one at home in case for some reason it's a weekend and someone wants me to do their hair. So, or I have to try to remember to bring it home and it's always a mess. So I just have 3 of everything so that I can just be very well prepared for anything. TV and film is a little bit different because we never really get the actor ahead of time. It's kind of like, and we're doing it now. Like we know who like the stars of the show are. So, we're doing a huge stunt. So it's like, great. I'm definitely just going to have a wig on standby just in case. And then production would then rent the wig from me. So, and like, that's like a selling point. Like I have every wig you could possibly imagine. And I can make anything you want within a day's notice. So that's kind of a selling point.
And that's expensive. That's like a lot of inventory to put out the investment for.
Yeah, I have numerous of wigs, but then I also have rented them out. So for like high school shows, regional theaters,
okay,
proms and weddings. So in my book, I teach that how to like start to incorporate wigs into your business in the salon, and really start showing how profitable it can be, and how you can truthfully change someone's life. I've had, cancer patients. I do a lot of cancer patients who are like, I just don't want a wiggy wig, or I don't want something really hot and thick, or I don't want something so, clumsy, or it doesn't look anything like me, is the biggest question or biggest comment I get. And that's where I love what I do, from like recreating their hair as if it's their own. I just did one where I cut off someone's hair and I made a wig out of it. So that's been.
Oh, wow. Yeah. So when you're shaving it, when they first get sick, you can use their own hair to. That is cool. Now, what does something like that run?
Well, it depends. It depends on the length and all and what they want. So anywhere between
like 5. What would my hair cost? God forbid. We're not going to pretend that that's going to happen. But like this length, I'm pretty fine.
Yeah. I mean, it would start at around 5,000.
I would imagine that sounds like a big project.
Yeah, it is about 90 hours, and then cutting and then mapping it out and making sure it fits your head perfectly, and then copying your hairline, because that's really what will give it away. But you do have it forever. So then I also then would rent someone, if I'm shaving off their head, I rent them a wig that kind of looks like their head just to get through that 90 hours. Well, that 2 weeks really.
Yeah. So while you're making it with their own hair, you're giving, that's awesome. What a smart thing. I would never even think that could be done, but I guess it's the same thing as you buying bundles from another country or wherever the hair comes from. And then you don't have to worry about getting the color perfect. Speaking of color, I kind of don't want to give away your little tip because of the podcast, but I thought that was a really cool little tidbit.
Wait, I have to have another one. Wait. I'll think.
Yeah, do something different so that people can listen to the podcast too.
On the podcast, I go on full on color, like getting messy. But this one is like the bigger one. Is we don't necessarily have to color the hair after it's made. So what I do is we'll buy hair in the color that we want. It's a different color scale. It's a different color scheme. It's really, I wish Pro and Wigs would just come together and be like, no, we're professional, but no. So they have like 1B, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 6, 13 is the blondest blonde you can get.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Who makes up those numbers?
No idea, actually. I would love to talk to them.
I want to know that, and I want to know whose job it is to name the OPI nail polish colors. Like whose job? That has to be one person's job to just name them. Where's my polish?
So like this is like 613. This is how I rooted it. So we did a root, but normally with a wig we will have different like tones to it. Okay. I can't tell you who because it's a very big name. But as you can see, like the front hairline, like the it's blonder in the center. So I literally ventilate. So one hair at a time, I ventilate it how I want it. Like that's like, so on a bigger wig, I'll do circles and squares for highlights and lowlights. So I will actually ventilate in a square for a highlight. I'll ventilate a square in for a low light. And also I farm out a lot. So like my students who worked for me, I'll be like, all right, I need a wig. It needs to be done tomorrow. Hope you're free. Here you go.
Now you have to be totally, I can imagine you have to be so OCD to be able to do this kind of work. How difficult is it to hand over to someone else a job that you would prefer to do yourself? You just don't have the time to do it. Like, are you picking it apart, or are you kind of like, do your thing? I'm good.
No, well, two things. No one is ever going to be able to do everything the way I would be able to do. Right. And it's taken me a little bit to get used to. My assistant would definitely argue on this one, but I like to let them do what they can, and also learn what they can do. So if I teach them the basics on how I make a wig normally for me, then I can take it and make it in anything I want. So if I normally do pad out like a solid 2 hours, if I'm getting a wig back, where I'll come in and I'll reshape the hairline. Yeah. So it depends on who it is. Like I have my assistant who I can just hand her a wig and be like, all right, give it back. Great. We're going right to set like right now. Whereas some other people, I'll be like, just leave the hairline. I can handle the hairline. I can do the final touches. So it can be, but then it's funny because actors will like rip out a hair. I'm like, do you know how much time I put to put that one hair? So that's been a fun little thing.
What I love about bringing you on to this coffee chat is, I do nothing but color for the past 17 years. So my whole world is color. And I talk to so many stylists that feel so trapped in the minutia of everyday grind in the salon. It's, I have a kid's cut, then I have a wax, then I have a root retouch, then I have a highlight. And these people are coming at me from all different directions and I'm standing on my feet. What I love about our industry is your face is lighting up and you're so excited to talk about pieces and wigs and Broadway and on set for shows. Up until probably a year ago, no one ever even spoke about the behind the scenes person. I know Ted Gibson was fighting to have, Oscars for the hair and makeup people, because without us, without what you do, imagine a Broadway show with their own hair and no makeup. You'd be sitting there like, what the heck is going on? So it's nice to see us finally getting our due and being, on the credits. All of that stuff needed to happen.
It's been a long haul, even just you can just look in the hair and makeup department from film. It normally was a male who was the department head of makeup. So they would be the ones who would then hire a hair person that they knew to come in and do hair for them. So the whole thing has changed now that we're two separate departments. We have a head of hair, we have a head of makeup. So we've evolved, with the union coming in and giving us some minimum wages, because, that is a thing that we need to think about. And, lunch breaks and turnaround times, some things that I know in the salon world, and benefits, I get full benefits if I work a certain days of the year, or I forget how it goes. You accrue points to get your 401k. So it kind of helps us like unify, really become one. That's the only thing I think we're missing in the salon world, is that there is no bottom level. There is no like, this is the minimum we will accept.
Yes.
And because each state has their own rules, it's really hard to do that. Because the amount of room that we have for a salon per se, compared to what we have for a Broadway show, I could laugh. And that's why we're truthfully not up and running right now with COVID, because we are in such small, tight quarters that we could not get enough ventilation in the area.
Absolutely.
It's a
Well, the union is no joke. I have a client whose daughter works as an assistant on Always Sunny in Philadelphia. And the amount of hours that she had to put in to get whatever her points are in the union, and then so many had to be done outside of California to be able to get it. And they just, it's almost like they make it so hard. They want to weed out 90% of the people that want to do it. So you definitely have done the work for sure. We have a couple questions.
yeah. I love questions.
Christina. Hi, Christina. Is there a certain way you make wigs look more like real hair? Is there a better type of wig for this?
Truthfully, what it boils down to is the lace that you're making your wig on. So as you can see, like what I want to say, what lace, but like just even on this, like it's here. But like what lace, it all depends on the lace that you're using. And there are different calibers of lace. So then here's like another one that I would use for like, this is literally for the back of a wig. So here's the nape, and then here's the top of the back. So and it's the back, so it's a lot thicker. So it really depends on what you're trying to create, what level of wig do you want to be putting out there? You know, I think that we can take any wig, like we can take and just cut off the front and refront it. So that's what I teach. I teach refronting wigs and really taking a pre-existing wig, whether you've made it from bundles and made your own back, whatever it is, or a closure, but then cutting off that front, laying your lace, because the integrity of that lace to hold it on is getting ruined because we're cutting off all the lace for the hairline. So really having that fit really well is the key, is the fit, and then truthfully the hairline. Answer that question.
That makes sense.
Ramble.
Do you have to remove the cuticle when you make a wig for a cancer patient using their own hair?
No, I leave it. I also cut off it very weirdly. So if you want, you can check out my YouTube video because you actually see me cut off every part. So I do tons of little ponytails all over the head. And then when I cut it, I put it onto a wig head in the same exact spot where I cut it off from. So that
I would love to see you have that on video. Have you done that?
Yep. I just launched it yesterday, actually. So like
go to YouTube and it's just your name, Daniel Koye.
Yeah.
Well, that's homework for everyone. We have to watch him do that. That's so
cool. Yeah. Please leave comments. I love it. And then if you have any questions, please do not hesitate. I love it.
So tell everyone where they can find more of you. I know you're starting to do education on all of this, which I think is fabulous because to your point, you know, I didn't learn anything about anything wig or hairpiece wise, you know, back when I went to beauty school on my horse and carriage in the 1900s.
No, we do extensions. You know, salons are known for extension work. You know, be it beaded row, be it, you know, whatever it may be. So there is wigs, and wigs have gotten a really bad name. So I would definitely look into it as a better option for a lot of people. But I love educating. I love seeing a light bulb go off on people. I love truthfully giving you another avenue for work. Like during this pandemic, I'm like so mad my team did not get it together quite in time. But like this would have been the perfect time to learn how to make a wig.
Mm-hmm.
To be honest, you'll be creative. You'll get to work with hair again. Like you could just sit on your couch and truthfully like passively make 10 grand a month. Like literally. Like
that's amazing.
That's all you really need to do. So you can find me at Daniel Koye Official on Instagram. First and foremost, that's like where everything kind of stems off from. I think that's what we're trying to do now. And then you can find me on everywhere, on Instagram, on social, on everything is Daniel Koye.
We're actually, I forgot, we're actually broadcasting this live on YouTube.
Oh,
so
on YouTube.
Hopefully people that are watching will go to your YouTube. So it's again just your name, Daniel Koye on YouTube.
Koye. Yep, that'll be me. And you'll see the one that I posted. I do talk about everything though, everything hair and wig related. I try to keep it in that realm of hair enhancements, I sometimes call it, because that's
like
really
that.
what we want to do is like just enhance someone's hair. And that's if they have alopecia and they just need like a little topper, they call it, you know, or if they just need a hairline. I have some men, celebrity clients who I make just the receding hairline part and fill that right in. So that's been a big thing. Welcome everyone. I should have clicked on comments. I'm like private chat, nothing. Oh my God, guys. Yeah. They want resilient fit. Yeah. I mean, you can totally, I'm just answering another question because that's just who I am. I don't even know how to do that one. People have given me wigs that they've had in the past and redid them. I charge a different service fee for it. Depends on if it's human, synthetic. So it's all about your consultation again. For wigs specifically, you have to have such an amazing consultation. And if you want, you can go to danielkoye.com and steal my consultation. So before anyone can even like come to me for like, or I get a DM like, I want a wig made by you. Great. Go to my website, fill out the form, because then I'm going to be able to see what they can handle. Can they handle an amazing hairline? Can they handle, or can they only handle a shake and go wig? You know, and that's through education. So I feel the marketing world of wigs has really screwed us and made wigs such a machine-made, wefted, itchy thing that it's scared people, you know?
Absolutely.
So yeah.
So Julie said, I'd like to observe the day in a life with Daniel. This is very interesting and he's fun. Julie is one of my Hair Color Secrets Insider members. So Julie, Daniel is our December coaching call. So you are going to have more of Daniel.
Yeah.
He is going to be with us for our call. So any of you insiders that are on here, get excited about that. And if you're not an insider, why the hell not? It's time for you to join. It's open enrollment right now. I bring fabulous people like Daniel and other guests because I always want to keep it interesting. You can only hear me talk so much before you need some new energy. So thank you so much for this today. Again, we could talk forever. I usually keep these to 30 minutes. We're at almost 45 and it's not been boring for a second. So when you and I get together, it is lots of yapping. So I love every minute of it. So thank you. And I look forward to seeing you on the call and everybody, all my coffee chatters. I hope that you will connect with Daniel and check out his wig education and his book and all of the things that he has to offer you. Thank you so much for watching. And we will see you next week.
Yeah. Bye.